Hello, welcome to Yin Yoga. So today we are going to work on building up to half saddle for some of you, or full saddle, or at least a variation of that for those of you that are okay in the knees and want to go a little bit beyond the half saddle. We will get into that a little bit today. So we will kind of start up opening the shoulders and the upper body a little bit with the strap. It's the only time in class we will use it here at the beginning. I also recommend maybe a blanket or two or a nice cushion if you need to sit up higher, especially if you have knee issues when we come into half saddle or full saddle. If you tend to be really tight or have some issues, if you sit up higher, that tends to be a lot more comfortable and better for them. So just kind of keep that in mind as we get there, and we will go ahead and get started. So finding a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. I'm just going to be crisscross applesauce here. I'm just kind of moving the flesh out of the way of my sits bones. A lot of times I sit up on a folded blanket, but I'm pretty open, so I don't need that today. But if you do, you can always sit up on a blanket, a block, or a cushion. We'll take a slight tuck in the chin. Find a little bit of length from crown to tail, but not a rigid length. And just settle into the breath. So we'll inhale and expand. Exhale and release. Good. Inhale and expand. Exhale, release something not serving you. Good. From here, taking fingers to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, reach, 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 and lengthen. Turning palms away, growing taller again from crown to tail as we lower. And once more, palms up. Inhale and we lift. Touching hands together. Exhale, hands in the heart center. Reconnecting, or not reconnecting, but connecting with an intention. So what would you like to give or receive from your practice today? For me, that's going to be open heart, open mind. You can choose that or your own. And once we have that set, we'll inhale, take the palms back up again, turning palms away, grow taller from crown to tail. Good. So from here, just kind of take those arms up. I'm going to go over to the left, just a little bit here. Good. And then moving through center, reach, take it over to the right. And coming back to center. Good. So we're going to use our strap, coming into a little bit of a flow. And because of how we're going to do it, your buckle, whether it's metal or plastic like mine is today, have your buckle on the left side so that when we put the hand down on the floor, your buckle is on the floor so you don't have to worry about getting hit in the face with it. So threading through pointer and thumb. Good. We'll just take that up. Good. Really find that tautness there. Find your abdominals, belly button, and inhale. Exhale. Take that over to the left. Good. Let that hand travel down. Good. And then from here, we're just going to take that, and you can take a wider grip up here if you need to. We're just going to take that to the back and take that forward. You'll get a little bit of an arc in that strap as you come forward. C curve roll, and we'll take it open and close and open. Hold it open. Look back there behind you. Good. Could you open just a little bit more? And then from here, just kind of take that here back to center, reach, reach, reach. And we'll come back in and take that down. Good. So reset your grip. I'm going to take my buckle on the other side between pointer and thumb. Good. Taking that up again. Inhale, exhale, take it over to the right. Just holding here for a moment. And then just letting that right hand slide down. Good. And then from here, good. We're just going to open to the back. And C curve roll coming forward. Good, and we'll open to the back and C curve roll forward. One more time. Open to the back, hold it back there. Reach, reach, reach. And coming back to center and coming back up. Good. From here, good. Let's thread this through again. Taking it back up. Good. So I'm holding on here, a little micro bend in the elbows. I'm nice and long in my spine. I'm going to go to the left and to the right, and to the left, and to the right, and to the left, and to the right, and to the left, and to the right. Good. Maybe a little bit of a wider grip here. Take it back a little bit. Take it back a little bit more behind you. Try not to pop the chest forward. And then take that back forward. And we'll go again. We'll taking it back. Maybe a little bit more this time, maybe not. So you want your arms to be long here. So if you're kind of coming back and you're bending your elbows to make this work, take a wider grip on your strap. And that also might mean not to come back as far. Good. And then we'll take that back forward. Good. So we're going to put this to the side. We won't need that for the rest of the class. Good. And then from here, we're going to come right into a child's pose. So I'm going to come here on all fours. Good. Remember, this is our first one. This is going to be a 2-minute one. So knees can be together as wide as the mat or somewhere in between. And try not to come all the way back just yet. Maybe just lift a little bit here. Find any support that you need. Arms can be long in front of you, or you can take your hands back by the ankles. You can support the forehead on a folded blanket, a block, or a pillow. And remember, this is active, so we're still drawing up from pubic bone behind the navel. We're breathing and expanding. And letting your body sink a little bit deeper as it's safe for you to do so with each exhale. Coming back to that intention. Open heart, open mind of your own. Good. So from here, carefully take your hands under your shoulders and carefully come up out of there. Good. So from here, I'm going to show you this from kind of an angle of sorts, but we're going to come into Janusarsasana, which is one leg forward and bending in one knee here. So I'm going to start by taking my right leg forward. I'm going to bring my left foot into the thigh here. And again, you can sit up on a folded blanket or something like that if you need that. But from here, we're going to go 3 minutes here. So from here, sitting up nice and tall, big inhale, exhale, hinge forward a little bit before your full hinge here, and then take it down, just so your body has somewhere to sink into and go as you come deeper into this pose. And we'll be here for about 3 minutes, being mindful, pain, numbness, tingling, burning, never normal sensations. So if you feel those at any time, back off until you don't, even if that means coming out of something completely. Think about breathing and expanding into the back body. When it's safe for you to do so, as you exhale, if your body is safe to go deeper, and I'll let you know because you'll want to go deeper, you can do that to your limits. Halfway there. Reconnect with breath and intention. Relax through the face. Relax any holding. Good. From here, carefully come out of there. Good. If you feel like you need to do a little bit of a twisty on one side and a little bit of a twisty to the other side, go ahead and do that. We're going to switch sides now. So from here, I'm just going to readjust. I'm going to take my left leg forward, bringing my right foot into this thigh now. Good. Sit up higher if you need to do that. And then from here, when you're ready, nice and tall. Inhale. Exhale. Take a little bit of a hinge forward, but not your full. Stop right before you get there. And then take that down. 3 minutes right here. Breathe into the back body. And as your body feels ready, you can sink deeper on your exhales if it's safe for you to do so. Back to intention in the breath. Notice any energy shifts that might be happening now, especially after the first sigh. Good. So from here, carefully come out of there. Good. And just like before, if you need a little bit of a twisty to one side and then a little bit of a twisty to the other, you can take that. And then from here, we're going to go into straddle. So now both legs are going to come out to the side. So remember here, and I'm going to bring a blanket in here because I'm going to run out of space. So from here, remember you don't want to take your legs out at your widest. So maybe, just a little bit. So for example, here's my widest. I'm going to kind of take that in just a little bit here. Hips, knees, and toes are going to track. Always support underneath your knees if you need to do that. And then from here, we'll come into it for another 3 minutes. Zip up from pubic bone to behind the navel. Big inhale. Exhale, we'll hinge and fold, long spine. And then a little bit before your edge, we'll take the arms down here. Gradually allowing your body to come in. And notice your toes, your knees, and your hips. If they turned inward while you took your fold-in forward, can you take them back towards your ceiling? Or outside if you're practicing outside. Then as your body wants you to, you can fold in. Remember, that's always an option. Sometimes going deeper just because the body wants us to isn't always a good choice. So be mindful. Is it the mind that wants to go deeper or the body? Return to intention and breath. Expand on the breath. Open mind, open heart. And then from here, carefully walk yourself up out of there. Good. Just so that these legs just have a little bit of a break here. Just kind of bring one leg in at a time. You can crisscross applesauce or more Baddha Konasana here, but then when you're ready, gentle rotation to one side and gentle rotation to the other side. Good. And from here, we're going to prep the back just a little bit more by going into some extensions. So we're going to come into Sphinx for some of you, or Seal for others. And for that, this will be a 2.5-minute pose practice here. If you need more support under the pelvis, remember you can do that. You've got, this height that you can put. You've got this height. You can fold it again if you want something just a little bit smaller, which is what I'm going to do here today. Good. And not all of you will need this, but when you know, you know. Okay. Or if you're curious, nothing wrong with being curious, you can just try it and see. So as I come forward here in my little bit of a lift, I'm taking my pelvic bones here, your ASIS, right to the edge of that little bit of a folded blanket. And so remember from here, legs will be about hip width apart. You've got your Sphinx, which is here, and then you've got your Seal, which is up here. So you choose where you want to practice for 2.5 minutes. And then from here, good. I'm just going to press into my forearms. My belly button is in. I'm pressing the floor away with forearms and elbows and shining my heart just a little bit forward. You have options here, whether you're in Seal or Sphinx with me. You can always just practice stillness. Some people like to kind of look side to side, getting some little neck rolls and stuff in here. That's fine if you want to go there. And remember, if you're up here, it's harder than it looks either way. If you can't maintain good form and good breath, just come out. We will counter this with a crocodile. So. Good. I just felt myself in a holding pattern, squeezing the glutes. So just take the belly button in. You don't have to squeeze the glutes. And notice how that changes how this feels. And then from here, when we're ready, carefully lower out of there. And just make that little recovery pillow with your hands and just kind of wiggle side to side here. Good. And then from here, when we're ready, we're going to take this back into a child's pose. So hands are going to come under the shoulders. Press up, knees together as wide as the mat or somewhere in between. Just kind of take it back here for just a moment. Breathe and expand. And then when you're ready, hands under the shoulders. And we're going to carefully come up out of here. Good. So we're going to come back down onto the belly one more time. We're going to get some nice quad stretches in here, the front of the thighs, before we take this back into saddle. So I'm going to move this blanket out of the way for this one, because we won't be here very long. We're just getting a little bit of a stretch. So I'm going to come back down onto the belly. Good. You can take your legs a little bit wider. Good. And your arms can kind of do whatever, they need to do up here. But I'm going to start by bending my right knee, just because that's the knee of the leg that's closest to the camera. I'm going to reach around behind. So remember, you can grab pants, ankle, or foot. And for some of us, this might be where we stay, and this might be enough for you. Others, make sure your belly button is into the spine. Do squeeze that right glute. Take that right foot up towards the ceiling, maybe rolling that shoulder back a little bit. So you should feel this in the front of the thigh. And then from here, when we're ready, we'll carefully release that, no slingshotting. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And we'll take that to the other side. So from here, I'm just going to bend the left knee. I'm going to reach behind, grabbing pants, ankle, or foot. This might be where some of you stay, or maybe making sure that belly button is in nice and tight, squeezing the left glute, taking that left foot straight up towards the ceiling, maybe rolling that shoulder back a little bit. Breathe. Good. And then from here, just carefully release and come out of there. Good. Give yourself another little wiggle, wiggle, if that would feel good to you. And then taking the hands underneath the shoulders, we're going to carefully come up from here. And we're going to work our way into half saddle and full saddle. So for me, for the half saddle, I'm going to sit on a folded blanket. I'm going to have that blanket a little bit more towards my wall here. So the first leg that I bend back is going to be my right side towards the camera, just so that the foot doesn't get caught in the prop. Some of you might need more than one blanket here, and that's fine. And because I'm going to see if I can go onto my back today while I'm here, I'm just going to bring in this nice sturdy cushion for back support. Going back is 100% optional and is not a requirement. And I don't recommend it in any form if you've got a lot of back issues where things, and you'll know, just things won't feel comfortable. So I'm going to take this, kind of roll over to my left, take my right foot back here. Good. And then I'm just going to kind of adjust myself a little bit so my left leg is long. Good. Now, theoretically, your knees and your hips should be in alignment. I've got about this much space between my knee and hip alignment, so do what you can, just as long as it's not too far out to the side. But from here, might help if we had that. From here, we're going to be here for 3 minutes. 3 minutes. And see how this goes. So just kind of settle in here for a moment. So I'm sitting up nice and tall because that's where I am. And I'm breathing. And remember that other little trick that helps. If you kind of make a little bit of a kind of a spider hand, creepy hand, you can kind of use that to kind of massage this area down here a little bit. Sometimes the fascia is tight. And then you can also kind of do that in this area here, right up above the knee. And sometimes even into the top of the foot. You don't always think about it, but you do have fascia on the top of the foot, and it gets tight sometimes too. As we begin to prepare where you're going to go next, some of you are just going to be here, just like where we are, and that's completely fine. Others are going to start going back a little bit. So remember, when we do that, this knee, you want to be grounded We don't want it to be floating in the air. So I'm going to take my hands kind of behind me a little bit here, and I'm leaning back a little bit, and I'm just going to see how this feels. And this might be enough for some of us. Others might go back a little bit more. So if that's you, please be supported. Good. And then I'm going to just kind of breathe here. So I am feeling a stretch. I like the fact that we did the quad stretch first. It's actually just a little bit less intense than sometimes it can be. So remember, leaning back, going back onto your back is optional here. Your knee will let you know real quick if that's not a good idea. Reconnecting with breath, reconnecting with intention, open heart, open mind, or one that you created for yourself. Good. So those of you that went back a little bit with me, going to take your hands back there. I'm going to roll over to my left side today after I tuck my chin. Good. And then as I roll all the way over to my left side, I'm just going to release that right leg. Good. And then once here, I'm just going to kind of notice, maybe bounce, bounce, maybe rub, rub, rub. So a lot of times after I do that one and some of these others, it always looks like one leg looks a little bit longer than the other, even though I know that's not the case. So from here, I'm just going to take this and turn around in the opposite direction. So I'll move this right here. I'll move my blanket more forward. Good. Again, kind of situating the blanket so my foot won't get caught in it when I take that leg back. But from here, sitting up on it, now I'm going to take the right leg along. Good. And then I'm going to roll over here, just taking that left leg back there. Good. Now be where you can be for a little bit here. And again, even though you might not have done it on the other side, sometimes body parts are different. So maybe you need to sit higher or lower on this side, depending on what you've got going on here. So nothing wrong with that. We'll be here for about 3 minutes. So again, if you kind of want to do that scary fingers, you can kind of just rub through here and rub all the way around here. Good, even the tops of the feet. Good. Even though you might be actively giving yourself a little bit of a massage here, reconnect with intention and breath. Good. And as we start to kind of figure out where we're going to go here, it all depends on you. So if you feel okay, maybe you're not sure, you can always stay here. Others might start just like we did on the other side. Maybe take your hands back just a little bit, see how that feels. This might be enough for you today. Maybe you can come back a little bit more, make sure you're supported. And you want that knee to be grounded. So if the knee is kind of floating or bouncing here, sometimes you can take that ankle and kind of pull it back, and that'll take care of it. If that doesn't take care of it, find yourself in a position where it's not doing that. Floating joint is a risky joint here. Connecting with breath and intention. So from here, and if you went all the way back, nut that chin a little bit, roll over onto the right side, carefully release that left leg, and then you can come up here. Good, and just kind of do a bouncy bounce or a rub rub. Good. And then from here, just notice how you feel. And then from here, we're going to go into a caterpillar. So we've done some extension for a lot of us. We'll go into caterpillar, some deep reflection, and then we'll come into full saddle variation. So from here, I'm going to stay seated on my folded blanket. Remember, you can take your bolster and put right on your legs or kind of between your legs. Folded blankets will do this too if you need that. Otherwise, from here, find a little bit of an anterior tilt with this one. So tailbone's going to come back. The bones are going to come forward. Also support your knees if you need to do that. Big inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, come forward right before your edge, and then take that down. Good. Breathe and expand. Think about breathing into the back body right in this area right here. Remember, as it's safe for you to do so, if your body would like for you to sink a little bit deeper, that's fine on exhales. Reconnect with breath, reconnect with intention, open heart, open mind, or the one that you chose. So from here, carefully walk out of your caterpillar. Good, and then from here, once again, maybe a gentle rotation on one side and a gentle rotation to the other side. Okay, so now we're going to go into a full saddle variation. There are different variations. I'm going to keep this one fairly simple today. So basically, this all depends on how you feel in your knees. So if they felt really tight and you needed to prop yourself up when we did the half, you're going to have to do that again to be successful and less risky if you're going to try the full variation. And because both knees or feet are going back at the same time, that might also mean you're a little bit higher up in your props too. So you can sit on a bolster. Some people sit on a bolster with a blanket on top. Some people stack 2 blocks on top of each other. Some people are fine with a folded blanket just like this, and then the rest of it kind of goes behind them. I'm going to fold my blanket today like this, and this is going to be my prop to sit on. I'm just going to stick that back there. So it starts just like you would if you were going to come into a hero's pose. Your knees are a little bit wider because eventually the theory is then your bottom will come down to the floor as you're in this pose. Now, actually, now I'm here. I kind of shocked myself a little bit, but this isn't my personal practice, so that's okay. So I could probably tolerate this blanket not being as high here. As I take both of these knees back, your calves are kind of coming out just a little bit here. Your feet are to each side. Your knees, legs, they won't touch together here usually. And this is where we're just going to be. Remember, you can be higher up. The higher up you go, the less intense it is down here. And if you've got it, you can always take the bottom to the floor. We're going to try this one for just a couple minutes. Or a couple more minutes from when we start. So not me, but there are many people that do meditate in this position. So I know some of you have a meditation cushion, so that's another idea for a prop here to sit on for this one. And I'm zipping up still from pubic bone to behind the navel. I'm breathing and expanding. Now, if you're good where you are and you want to kind of go with this with me in a little bit more of a contemplation, you can take your hands over your heart here and really come back to your intention. Open heart, open mind. And what does that mean? What does it mean to you? Good, and then from here, when you're ready, just carefully release out of there. I'm just gonna take my hands forward. I'm just gonna carefully come on all fours. I'm gonna remove my folded blanket or whatever prop that you use. You can move that out of the way here. Good, and once again, I'm just gonna kind of settle down here. I'm just gonna come back onto the belly. You can wiggle, 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 or crocodile it here. Good. And then from here, when you're ready, There's no need to get back up unless you just want to, but I'm going to just roll over onto my back from here. Good. And once you get there, just take the feet as wide as your mat space and just kind of do a little bit of a windshield wiper. Just kind of keep it nice and gentle. Good. And then you can bring those feet and legs back in. So we're going to go into final twisties here before Shavasana. So I'm going to start. Let's actually do this just a little bit differently. Let's take the right leg long. I'm just going to move some of these props out of the way here. And at this point, it's okay for you to have a little bit of a neck pillow if you want one. But I'm going to take my right leg long. I'm going to bring my left knee in here to the chest. I'm just going to kind of pull it in and maybe just release a little bit. Just pull it in a little bit more. And maybe a little bit and just pull it in a little bit more. And we'll just hold it there. Good. And then we'll take the right hand on the outside of that left thigh. Left arm can come out to the side. We're going to twisty here over to the right. If you need props under this leg, which it looks like I might, I'm going to take my folded blanket back under there. You can bring those in. Good. 3 minutes from here. Breathe and expand the rib cage. Coming back to intention. So from here, carefully come back the center. Just kind of guide that leg back in. Good. Bring that knee back into the chest one more time. Now bring your other knee into the chest. Good. Squeeze them both in. Notice the difference between one side and the other. And then from here, you can take that left leg long. Good. We'll take the hands around that right thigh and just kind of release a little bit and pull it in. And release a little and pull in. and release a little and pull in and hold. Good. And then we'll take the left hand on the outside of that knee. I'm gonna actually move my folded blanket prop over to the other side. Good, and then we'll take that over towards the left. Good, maybe looking towards the right, and we'll be right here. Breathing and expanding. Reconnecting with intention once more. Good, and then from here, carefully help guide yourself back to center. Good, pull that knee in. The other knee will come in. Good, give yourself a nice big hug. And from here, we're gonna go into Shavasana. So you can bring in any props that you want to. Props are always optional in Shavasana. You can always just kind of let everything go long and flop open. I'm gonna bring my bolster in here just because I love it after a nice deep practice. And then from here, see if you can make yourself about 10% more comfortable. And I will leave you here for a few moments, dropping into the heart space, coming back to your intention, and practicing the hardest yoga pose of all, being still. Taking some deep breaths here. Choose stillness or gently take head and neck from side to side. Choose stillness or invite movement of the fingers and the toes. Choosing stillness or taking knees into the chest. Choosing to keep the upper body lower or maybe lifted for a full body hug. And choosing stillness or moving any props out of the way that you may have used for your Shavasana time. Taking legs long in front of you, arms long behind you, and reach and lengthen from the edge of the fingertips to the edge of the toes. Full body stretch, pointing and flexing through the feet, bending and stretching through the hands, twirling wrists and ankles in one direction, and then in the other. And then from here, whenever you're ready, carefully bring in both knees, and you choose rolling over onto your right or left side, the side that works best for you in this moment. Taking all the time you need here, but when you're ready, carefully come up to a comfortable seat, maybe the same one we started with, maybe a different one. Good. Finding a little bit of length in the spine, fingertips to the side. Notice how you feel. Palms to the ceiling. Inhale and we reach, touching palms together. Exhale, hands to heart center. Reconnect one final time with that intention you chose for yourself, or the one I gave you, open heart, open mind. We'll take our thumbs to our forehead for good and true thoughts, to our lips for good and kind words, and to our hearts for open and loving hearts, knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted, no gain is ever reversed. May you be safe, may you stay well, may you have a wonderful day, evening, week, and month ahead. Namaste.